Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm not missing your. Yeah. Hi, Sierra. Hi, PQ. Okay, so now I'm seeing some of. So it's interesting. I see this. It pops up. Does it sound weird? I just am looking to find out if it sounds weird and I should be taking out my headphones or not. That's how you know I'm like I have my AirPods and my AirPods and wired AirPods in. So oh, I guess my son is making fun of me for saying that. So let me just know if you are having any issues. Hi, Cindy. Okay, the sound is good. Fantastic. Great. So I'm just going to go forward with I am going to talk a little bit today. I'm going to be working on some of the stuff that I do in transformational coaching or spirit coaching. I have something that has been bubbling up for me in this past couple of weeks, and is maybe that I do a lot of understating of what I do for my clients in mediumship and in coaching. So I thought, well, I think maybe we should just talk a little bit about the power of attraction, how we work with those energy fields as they come up, because we are dealing a lot with Aunt Byron Katie. Anybody who is who's been to some of this transformational coaching that I do, I work a lot with a Byron Katie model because the stuff will blow your mind if you apply it to your life. So let's talk about applying things to your life that will actually help you right now as you're sitting in your house, space, workspace, to really try and give a full picture to what's going on. So when you are home, and who knows, I know I have a reading with a session with another client who's going to end up probably watching this and not need to talk to me. So, but the transformational coaching is what I want to talk about. And what I want to talk specifically about it right now is if you are finding yourself in this space of stress and emotional pain, let's call it emotional pain, as you're in your house, physical distancing, maybe you're feeling socially isolated, and there's negative emotions that are coming up that they're coming up to show you that your inner being and who you are, your personality, your idea of yourself in this world are incongruent. They're not together. They're not moving forward as one unified course. You're kind of working in this discord. Now, when you notice that you have this discord and you have these emotions that keep coming up, and whether there be anger, anxiety, a very good thing of anxiety, I want you to kind of begin to get into this mode of acceptance, which is one of the things. How do we know that how do we know that we're supposed to be dealing with a coronavirus? Does anybody, I'm gonna see if any of my coaching people are on here now. How do we know that we're supposed to be dealing with COVID-19 or the coronavirus? I keep looking down because my phone is down. I want to make sure it's possible that I don't miss any. Here's how we are. There can be nothing other than happening. What is happening? Nothing other than reality that is happening. The reality is this is what's happened. This coronavirus, whether it be because of a bat, whether it be because of, I had seen somebody talking about 5G. I think 5G making viruses come back to life or come to life in a different way. Which again, viruses are not considered alive in the biological world. They're a whole nother weird thing that isn't really alive, but they do mutate. So here we go. How do you know we're supposed to be dealing with it? Because we are, because it's here. So that's a very Byron Katie thing. Who are you if you think I'm not supposed to be dealing with this? This is just awful. I can't stand it. I can't take it. I can't do this. You're in that area of discord, right? that discord area where there's just begin angst, anxiety, worry, maybe anger, sadness, depression. All these things are coming up right now because we think we should be dealing with something other than what we are dealing with. So you get, if you think it's supposed to be different, these things are coming up for you. I want you to choose a different way. And one of the ways I want you to choose it is to think about, who are you if you know, like, this is something we are dealing with, and you kind of begin to look at it a positive way. We're dealing with it differently because everybody is taking it seriously, because people are physically distancing. And even though the ones that aren't, we're not going to focus on them. We're going to focus on all of the families and all the kids and all the people that we are helping by staying distance, by being really in this moment of accepting the reality of what's happening. And the reality is we do not have an immune system to fight this virus. And I keep talking about the virus because the virus is what's happening. And I get a lot of people contacting me after these, on a daily basis. I'm really worried. I'm concerned. I'm depressed. I'm having a hard time. I'm not really being able to do things. So I want to say, like, here we are with this opportunity to just accept reality. And when you begin to accept reality, you begin to get out of that discord, and you are begin a smooth run. Okay. Let's talk about a smooth run, because I want you to start thinking that your vibration and your frequency, that is your way to rewrite your world. So what you are in charge of your story. And let me just say, what if you are in charge of your story? Does this make sense? Cindy, I love that. So Cindy is saying that makes accepting I have no control. That's about impossible. So means that when you're accepting something that has that you don't have control over, it's a really difficult thing to do. I mean, we're here. That's why we have this discord. That's why things are always like, that's why we're having these issues coming up. That's why these things are happening. We don't have control over almost anything, right? I mean, that's a hard thing to talk about in this life, but it's very, very true. We don't get to decide when we die. We don't get to decide when our loved ones die. We don't get to decide a multitude of things. But if you can begin to move into acceptance, you can begin to then see the beauty of where life is in a different way that is more contextual and has reference and reverence, like those two things, reference and reverence together. So again, let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything. Nope. Hi, Cheryl. I see you out there. So I want to talk a little bit about Bear. I'm watching you. So I want to talk a little bit about what happens then when you get to step into the stream of reality, and that the reality that is happening is what is truly happening, and you're not wanting anything different, and you're really just trying to work within the confines of this world. Well, one, you then get to see the beauty that you're not really ever alone. And when you are in congruency with this inner being and who you are, you begin to see that your vibrations and frequencies begin to manifest faster. They begin to shift and change. And there was a picture, and I'm just going to, I'm going to see if I can add it here. Okay, I can't add it there. But I'm going to show it to you on the camera once I find it. This one right here. Can you see that? There we go. Things lifting off of your page and beginning to become into a manifestation where you're the quickness between, and here is why it's so important. This is something that I just get to like think about. I think about this stuff all the time, kind of all the time, that's behind the scenes, is what you are here to do in this world is collapse time. So from the time that it takes that we are working towards a mission, so I love this idea, and I think it's hard to understand mostly until we have such an outbreak like COVID-19. We have this outbreak that causes us to really see how dependent we are, how interdependent we are, how not alone we are, how all of our professions, ideas, beliefs sort of all fit together in this web that makes our lives and our experience work, right? So everybody has a reason why they're here. And I'm not talking about it just for a cashier. It's just only a metaphorical. We have a physical world right now where we can see how dependent we are on everybody. So what I think is that when you have people working in here in this space, there is no, time collapses. If you have this begin to happen, this could be centuries and centuries and centuries where people aren't working together and recognizing how interdependent they are. They're really only seeing their own space and time in their own belief system, and maybe they're bucking reality. So I see this when, there's big talk about, and I think I think coming to this earth is a very brave thing for all of us to do. I think coming here is very hard. We don't remember deciding we want to come here. We don't remember all of the things that, okay, I just want to make sure that I didn't miss anything. We don't remember that we all decided to sign up for this craziness. And we think, we're here, it's over fast, and we're back on the other side where there is pureness and happiness and no break in love. Here there's the idea of separate realities, but we don't live a separate reality. We live completely interdependent on each other, which we see right now. So what ends up happening is when you begin to get in the flow and you begin to work with the things and begin to, and I'm not saying it's easy, it can take some time, but because you do your job and you show up and you're brave and you go out, let's say, 2 generations ago, women didn't leave abusive relationships. They stayed married to these people. It created reverberations around many generations that we're still paying for. And now you have 2 generations later. So if somebody is in a relationship or a marriage that isn't working, they're able to leave. Collapsing time. So then these people can do, because imagine how many geniuses we would have had in those situations, in those worlds that weren't supported in their experience while they were here. They weren't able to collapse time. So part of what I'm wanting you to do is accept reality the way it is right now, especially for COVID-19. It doesn't mean that, by all means, it doesn't mean that you don't do your research and you don't look at different ways, and you don't do it where you're in this world of discord internally, where your inner being and your person are completely not aligned. Because if you want to research global warming and figure out ways, go do it, but do it so that everybody knows that you're the expert in it. Go be that expert, because that is then the reality. Does it make sense? Like, you go do something about the thing, because now you have all of your ducks in a row, of your whole, everybody's playing on the same team within you. You go forward and you fight for it. So what I want to talk about as well is, on top of that, this is kind of a deep subject, so I'm just wondering how y'all are doing out there. And I think it's funny. People in YouTube's like, oh, see you later, man. I'm not gonna. I just want to see how. Can you hear me on YouTube? That's a weird thing. It says. That's weird. Can you guys hear me on Facebook? That's also very odd. Okay, so what happens? Like, let's try this. Every single time, then you're gonna like let's just say you begin to accept reality for what it is. Let's just say that you create, because you don't have control over. There are people who have definitely taken ideas away from me and run with them, and that's been fantastic. Because it's been a learning experience for me. I sit on ideas for a long time. It takes a lot for me to move forward. So that is something I have to learn for myself. And I have to accept these things have happened, because it would be insane for me to believe that they haven't happened, which they really have. Okay, good. So what I want you to focus on in this next day or two is to begin to think about your story and what you want from your life. Now, if you come from this place where you're thinking about some joyousness, some ability to move forward and write a story that you like, this does mean getting, the pieces of paper and writing things down. And let's move to this one. These are blank. Get a piece of paper, get a book, get a couple books. And it's not a diary. It's not a Dear Diary. This happened to me today. Dear Diary, John Wayne was in my dream last night. No. This is a working journal for you to bullet point, for you to write in an outline format, anything that works for you, so that you can begin to think about what you want to wake up to every day. What time do you want to wake up? What kind of things do you want to do when you wake up? Who are you talking to? What kind of hobbies are you having in your life? You can take this time to imagine and lean into building a life that you fully want. So this doesn't mean you go back. This is really important. This is the important thing. You don't go back and say, okay, well, I did this thing and this thing happened. I'm going to spend all of my time and energy understanding why it went wrong, how it wrong, who it went wrong with, what I could have done better, what I should have done. It's actually turning to focus on where you are going. That's where I want you to turn to. Turn to where you're going and how you're going to take care of yourself. And what is your life going to look like and to be joyful? Do you like what you're doing right now? Do you want to continue what you're doing right now? It's a very important question to be asking yourself. Are you feeling a calling to do something that you have been holding on to for years and you're not sure how to do it? Jump into it. Write it down. And how do you jump into it? You jump into it by writing it down. You jump into it by thinking about it. You jump into it by putting some emotion around it so that you're able to feel some spark, the emotion and the jubilation and the joy around a new idea of being, a new something of being that you, I guess it just tells me, okay, you guys can hear me on YouTube, great, is that you really begin to then focus on how you can shift into a shift. I want you to think about right now you're riding a roller coaster, anxiety, depression, sadness, uncertainty, fear. I mean, we are in some of, look, let's not run away with conspiracies, and let's not, those aren't going to be helpful for anybody. You don't have control over who the president is. And if your happiness is based on who the president is, you are going to be a very, very unhappy person. If you are worried about, if you're worried about what, if you're buying into the fear propaganda, you're going to be connecting to that vibration and frequency and making more fear. The only way you can stop making fear in your life and going on that roller coaster of, I should be afraid of everybody. I should hold my breath when I'm talking, when I walk by somebody so that I don't breathe. Is you have to begin to change direction of what you're thinking and focusing on. So why do I want you to write down what you are? I mean, I'm seeing Zyla, which I like, is writing the vision board. I do dig the vision board, but I want you to write it down in a story format for yourself. Doesn't have to be like a big, huge 80-page novel. Like that's a huge novel. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, in order for you to kind of unfold this sort of lotus of what you want, you need to begin to like have some energy of emotionality behind it. So I hope that makes sense to everybody today. It's where I've been thinking that we really need to break down our time, collapse time, not break down, collapse time. We're never going to break down time. And in this plane of existence, listen to me. There was always going to be, you're always going to be coming into pain, coming at pain, or coming out of pain. There's always this cycle of how things go. Always this cycle of how things go. Let me say that again. Always this cycle of how things go. But what you can do is begin to understand and accept that there's a cycle to the way things go. Accept, even though you can't, there are things that are beyond your control, accept and move into where you can change it. You can't change it if you are not, you can't change it if you are focused on the fear, the anger, the depression, the sadness. If you're looking at these past experiences and focusing on, I could have changed, I should have changed, and you're like, you are creating more of that energy, vibration, and frequency in your life. There. I hope that makes sense. Does anybody have any questions? Air hugs. Thank you, Angie. Janine Moore, definitely we can do some transformational coaching. If you'd like to start, I can set up some meetings with you. It's funny. I just saw myself like here. I was all animated. Oh, and where's my, oh my gosh. Let me just tell you, I'm working from, I love you, BQ, and we were going to come out to see you this spring break. And actually this week is spring break. And I mean, it sucks. So I got to see Mabel, and it's going to happen sometime. Okay. So I think that's what I have for you today. Oh, I like that. Any day, any recommendations for a quick way to start the day positive? Ooh, I love that. Good idea. Good conversation. Good question. Okay, this is what I want you to, this is something, I am going to be coming out there as soon as I can, girl. This one thing I want you to do, I think that's great, is a great question, is I want you to do it when it starts in bed. Normally we go, oh, normally we're under, I mean, and I'm not speaking for everybody here, because I know there's essentials, and I know there's people who are still getting up and going to doctor's offices and to hospitals. And I really appreciate what you're doing. And I'm doing my part as well. But what I want you to do, instead of waking up and going, oh, I gotta get up. Oh, I feel awful, or I didn't get enough sleep, or I didn't this, or I had to get up and go to the bathroom 10 times last night. I want you to switch and try and find 5 things that are positive before you get out of bed. 5 things. I got to sleep for 3 hours straight. I got to go for, I'm planning on going for a walk today, or I'm going to take the dog out, or I'm going to get my mask, or I'm going to like make the best grocery, do the best grocery run, and make this amazing dish for my family out of love. Because what I want you to be thinking of as you're doing this is, the more that you find, and I want you, this is a real feeling thing. Remember, this is all about your feelings, that as you begin to get into this acceptance of what's happening, moving into what your vibration and your frequency are, you're going to find that things begin to slide and glide a little bit easier. Things aren't so put offish and horrible, and they're easier to to do. I like that settling. The other thing you can do, and I'm a humongous fan of this, and this is YouTube, not me. I'm not even going to like promote me, but YouTube, Esther Hicks Morning Rampage. I'll put a link today on the in my comment section. It's something that I have to listen to with my kids. It's a way to start seeing like things are always working out for me. And what I find, and it's been interesting because every single time I look back on the past 2 years, I've found how everything has worked out for me over and over and over again. And it really started when I was started to do this. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. Everything always works out for me. Things are always working out for me. And since things are always working out for me, what other bigger, better things do I want to work out for me? Because everything always works out for me. It looks like I'm lucky. It looks like I've got this, but I know that I am always supported in every decision, every time. Think about living from that place. I'm always supported in every decision, every time. Doesn't it like just like give you like goosebumps? Like, whoo, it feels just amazing. But so try that. I think I have an April Fool's Day prank waiting for me. The other thing I want you to do, I'm watching myself give my little speech right now. The other thing I want you to do, and I do this, so and I want you to do this, if you are having money problems, listen to me, okay? If you are having money problems, I want you to take money and I want you to begin to hide it around your house. I want you to put it in your bra. I want you to stick it in pants. I want you to put it in shirts. I want you to put it in books that maybe it's your journal and you open it up and find it. I think so I'll tell you the story. I think it's so funny. And it's just all true. I had to sit. I went and visited my sister, and she was in the hospital overnight. And I went and visited her, and I started telling her about how I started to trick my brain. So anytime I would open up my purse and I'd find 3, 4, 5 different places. There was always like money there. I always hid money to always find it. So my brain started getting on board. I have all the money I possibly need. I have all this cash. And I would be like, see, I told her this. I went to her. I'm like, I always have money. And then I pulled out like a 20 from my bra. Everything I always need. Things are always working out for me. And I always have this money whenever I need it every single time. And what turned out is that my income just started going up and up and up and up and up. So be brave, be yourself, be honest, and wholeheartedly jump into where the energy and the flow is easier. Does it make sense? I guess that's it, unless anybody else has any questions. And I will put on, let me see if I can't find it right now as I do this. Hang on, I'm going to find it right now so that I can have it. There it is. It's my favorite one. So good. I should turn my YouTube channel into an Esther Hicks channel. That's what I should do. I'm going to put it in both YouTube and oh, come on now. There we go. Both into my YouTube channel. Everything is always working out for me. Start this off, rip off the rearview mirror. I love what you're saying over here, Julie. Rip it off and start to live in this glittery existence of happiness and joy. See light, be light. Until tomorrow, I look forward to answering any questions if you have any, and working with all you guys as time permits. Take care. Ciao. Bye. Bye, YouTube.